Guys, what's going on? Zuko back with another video. This one's really good. Get your coffee, okay? Get your coffee up for this one. Get a drink. Go get a snack. Kick back, relax. This is gonna get ugly. Okay. What I'm about to show you is a dungeon that I was doing, and it is an absolute Pasta-Disasta. It goes very poorly. But here's what I want to show you. We're going to jump through some clips of the dungeon that I did. I don't want to take too long, but I want to highlight. I'm doing the Primal Lava Actuators build for Enhancement Shaman. I want to show you how well that build works. I want to talk a little bit about Mythic Plus in general, and then I'm going to show you the absolute disaster unfold because it's really funny. I've moved my webcam over to the right-hand side for now because I want you to see some of my reactions to the video on the left-hand side because they're pretty funny. So let me just play this opening clip for you. I'm going to talk about Mythic Plus for a sec. If you guys are playing the game right now, hopefully that's not too loud. Maybe you started late into Shadowlands. Maybe you just haven't had a lot of time to play. Maybe you're just getting into Mythic Plus for the first time. That's all fine. And you don't need to be doing plus 20 Mythic Plus keys or plus 25 Mythic Plus keys. In fact, it's completely unrealistic to think that most of us are ever going to do a plus 20 key or a plus 25 or a 30. Like, it's just not going to happen. You need a very coordinated group. You need to be on Discord or comms of some kind. You have to know your route. You have to have played with the people before, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that need to go right for you to really crush like a plus 20 Mythic Plus. So for a lot of us, we're just doing things like a plus 7 or a plus 8 or maybe up to like a plus 15. And that's okay. And this is going to be a 14 Mythic Plus. I'm going to show you the fire build, and I'm going to show you. So I just, obviously I'm watching myself, kind of silly, but I wanted my past self to say that because it's actually just so true, okay? We need to be really careful about Mythic Plus. I mean, this game in general, like, what are we playing this game for? We're trying to play this to have fun, right? We're playing this game to enjoy ourselves as a hobby. We're not playing to be the best Mythic Plus person anybody's ever seen in their life and, like, do the absolute best min-max every build we can possibly. You can only play one build. If you're playing Enhancement Shaman, you have to play Doom Winds, or else you're an idiot and you shouldn't play this game anymore. Like, that's not why we're playing. We're playing to have fun. I hope you are. If you're not having fun with this game, then what the heck are you doing here? Why are you playing World of Warcraft in the first place? So when you're jumping into your Mythic Plus experience with people, just have fun. This is why I'm trying to highlight all the different builds that you can do on Enhancement Shaman and also other classes like my Survival Hunter with Necrolord throwing the chakrams and having explosive shot go off. Like, those are builds that aren't supposed to be viable, but they are because we're just trying to have fun. We're not pushing plus 20, plus 25 keys. So I just want to make that really clear. Here's the first part of the dungeon. I am doing Primal Lava Actuators. It's the fire build. What it is that you can... Let me mute this for 1 second. We're going to run in here, and I'm going to show you how this build actually functions fairly well. On the first couple packs that we do, we don't immediately start wiping. It actually goes kind of okay. And then you're going to see the fire build in action. Okay, so let's listen to my past self. You guys understand that it's okay to not be just crushing through enormous keys. That's not something that's like realistically going to happen all the time. Here's the damage. We're going to pop Vesper Totem here. We're going to make sure that we get as many Flame Shocks out as we can because we're using Primal Lava Actuators, right? So we got 3 Flame Shocks out now, which is good. It's going to get our Lava Lash cooldown back really quickly. You're going to see the consistent damage. Gonna be careful here. I'm holding my trinket. I'm holding, like, everything. Okay, I'm going to pause. I'm going to jump ahead in a second. You can see this Forsworn Goliath here. This is Inspiring Week, so it means that there's the one mob that's inspired. You can't kick anybody else that's around him. That Forsworn Goliath's going to patrol back up the stairs, and we're going to... It's just really bad. Let me jump to the first scene. Let me look at my notes here. We need to go to the 4-minute mark. So that's the introduction. I'm going to head to the 4-minute mark. We've killed the first 2 packs fairly successfully. And then we're going to jump ahead to here, and I'm going to show you. We are not doing... For some reason, the tank carries the Goliath into the next pack. Instead, we're focused more. And there's an inspiring mob there. And And this is not what you want to do. If you're running this dungeon on inspiring, you need to have look at we take a ton of damage. People start dying. I start healing. Vesper Totem healing is quite strong, by the way, but you can't bring the Goliath back into a pack that has inspiring because then you can't kick the Goliath. He does Rebellious Fist. This is a plus 14 dungeon. It's gonna kill the guy. Watch this. Everybody, I almost die. It kills the healer. I do die. I release. It's like, okay, this is the first sign that this dungeon is not going to go well. But it's just because of the way that the tank pulls us. And then the healer almost runs up and dies again. We got to back off. What you want to do is use things like Hex on the mobs that have inspiring around them because they can be CC'd. And then you can pull the rest of the pack away from the inspired mob so that you can get away from the buff. Here I try to pop Ascendance to make a bad situation a little bit better. I'm trying to get rid of the inspiring mob. I end up dying again. Not sure what the healer was doing there, but that's okay. The healer was actually doing fine. He was pumping like 7k HPS. The healer was doing okay. It was not his fault. We just never should have pulled the Rebellious Fist guy into an inspiring pack. So don't do this in your Mythic Plus dungeons, okay? Again, this is a 14. It gets so deadly at this level, right? If you do make a mistake like this, then you're just going to wipe. So on inspiring mobs, use your crowd control on the inspired mobs, and then pull the rest of the packs away from the inspired mobs so that you can kick them. Because in all the Shadowlands dungeons, there's so many abilities you have to kick, man. It's so much stuff you got to kick. If you don't kick it, you're just going to lose. Okay, let's go to... we actually one-shot the first boss, which is very surprising, because it's actually a really tough fight. I just want to jump to it really quickly. Is it up here? We get past this pack. Oh, this is a disaster as well. I'm gonna show this. So this is the real disaster that happens here. We get past the first way more on AoE. Okay, so hopefully it's our job to take care of some of the single target. I'm gonna mute myself. We get past the first tormentor, and then here's where this needs to happen. I'm gonna pause right now. The druid just runs in, and I stop here and I target the inspire guy. I'm ready to like hex him, but the tank just pulls, and so I'm like, okay. Of our cooldowns. It's too much. We can't handle this. Not on a 14. I'm trying to blow my cooldowns to do damage. This is some damage that you can do as the fire build, but it's too much. We needed to hex the guy and then pull the group away. That's what we end up doing later. I go up and hex him and we pull the group away and it works out fine. But this is a prime example of how you need to change your strategy in a dungeon depending on what affixes you have, depending on what's going on. So don't just face roll into every single pack and expect things to be okay. The affixes in these dungeons dramatically change how you're supposed to play the game. So you have to respect them. Okay, let's go to the next section. We one shot the first boss, which is great. We go right and we kill some of the kitties, and then we keep going right. I would not recommend in this dungeon to go on the right hand side. Here's what I like to do. This is where you, if you have a hunter, you could use a flare to reveal these cats. Where I talked about like some of the skills you can have is that's all very true. If you have a hunter, you can reveal all these cats. If you don't reveal the cats, they will stun out of stealth. They do a buttload of damage to your tank. So flare is really good here. You could also pre-cap totem. I think you would catch them if you happen to catch them where they're patrolling. But the tank pulls this, and then he pulls a bunch of other stuff. I like to run this dungeon where I pull this entire side, these 3 cats, and the next 3 cats as well. So it's like there's 6 or 7 cats in total. Then there's one final guy waiting for you. I like to clear this whole thing and then go to the other side, past the first boss, like do the other wing and go that direction because I think it's easier. We don't decide to do that. Instead, we decide to just power through this side, which is fine. We're going to go to 1442. I'll go to 1435. Let's go there. We're coming up on, because we go this way, there's 2 guys with Rebellious Fists. They do the big AoE, right? They're coming up right here. The Forsworn Goliaths, 2 Rebellious Fists. There's one, and there's a second one. Somebody kicks it, so we're doing okay, but they're going to cast it again, and we need people to be ready to kick it. You can see all 4 of our kicks are on cooldown. This is a disaster waiting to happen, so this is bad. This first one goes off here. Boom, it hits us for 2/3 of our HP. The second one goes off, and 2 people die. I popped my wall, Astral Shift, so I didn't die. I got lucky there. But it's just like, you need to coordinate kicks better, or else you'll have disasters like this happen. You don't want this to happen. So if you're in a group, you really need to, and you're gonna go this is why you don't go this direction in this dungeon, because you have to deal with this. And in pugs, sometimes it's really difficult to coordinate kicks. Sometimes you get overlapping kicks, just like we did. All four of us kicked at the same time. We end up salvaging this situation, barely, but that's good. That's a good sign that the group can sort of figure out what to do. But just don't go this direction. Go the other way so you don't have to deal with this on a pug. Or if you are going to deal with it, coordinate your kicks, or else you're totally going to be screwed. Okay. The Windwalker Monk was just not playing very well, period. I popped my trinket here and Sundering and a whole bunch of stuff to try and keep the damage going. You can see we're doing decent damage here. We got a hot hand proc, but this next pack, I think the Windwalker Monk finally does some damage. We're gonna see again. We have an inspired mob, and I was kind of worried about this. I messed this up so hard. I didn't see that he was doing entangling roots. I did not see that he was doing entangling roots there. That's what the bear did to isolate the inspired mob. Again, this is a pug. Nobody's communicating. I could have hexed it. I thought we were just gonna run in and blow it up. He didn't tell me anything. So I end up pulling this a little bit extra. So that's kind of my fault. But then the Windwalker monk, I think, just wakes up and presses his buttons. Here he comes, 7k, 8k, 9k, and the DH is doing damage 11k. The Windwalker like finally does something, which is exactly what you expected of Windwalkers. You expect the AoE damage. So that's great. Those two guys pumped. I only did about 5k. So this is what you're going to get. Cooldown usage, right? Okay, you guys use your cooldown on the next pack. I'm going to use my cooldowns on the pack after. Blah, blah, blah. You bounce back and forth. That's a good way to do it. So we actually deal with this pack just fine. The disaster has not entirely happened yet, but we have died 18 times already. So we're probably not going to time it. Let's skip ahead. Gonna pause. We're gonna go to 19. Oh no, 17. It's coming up very soon. Let's go to 17 on the nose. I get autoed here. Oh wait, there's this happening. The tank struggled again and again. I pop all my cooldowns here and I'm getting autoed. See how I have Grievous buffs on me? I sometimes that can just happen from residual damage, but I also was getting autoed by people. You have to be really careful as a DPS. You don't want to blow all your cooldowns before the tank has established aggro, but the tank needs to establish aggro quickly, or else it just doesn't work, because your DPS can't hold cooldowns. They need to press their buttons, or else no damage is going to happen whatsoever. So we do clear this pack. On this next pack coming up, I get autoed by a mob because the tank doesn't establish aggro. He doesn't grab aggro quick enough. So he tells us to LOS here. You're going to see this. We should all just be back down the stairs already. The tank should be the only one at the top of the stairs here. We should have all already backed up. So he goes LOS. We go, okay, we didn't know what he was doing. So finally he says LOS. We run down here. He runs down. This guy jumps. I think I put a flame shock out. I'm waiting for the tank to get aggro, waiting for the tank to get aggro. Then I drop my totem. Then I press my buttons and I get autoed right there by the rebellious guy. This Goliath just goes whack and I die. So then I'm kind of just like, oh man. I'm waiting for the druid to res me. He doesn't. Druid's not gonna res me. Okay. So I have to run back. I popped my cooldowns and got wrecked because I thought the druid had aggro, but he didn't have it yet. So that's okay. Sometimes that happens. You got to keep your cool. We waited till they got down there. He thrashed like a couple times. I thought to myself, well, I'm gonna go here. And really, as a tank, tanks need to be able to get that aggro as quickly as possible, because your DPS want to pop their cooldowns, right? And if they can't do that, then we're not going to kill these mobs. So that is a bit on the druid there, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll just push through. Once again, you need to be able to just push through this. Sometimes you're going to get tanks and you're going to get bad groups where like people aren't performing optimally. They're not doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. That happens all the freaking time in dungeons, guys. All the time in Mythic Plus. People just like kind of mess up what they're supposed to do. The bear had a great idea. We're going to LOS down the stairs. He's going to grab aggro and we're going to kill everything down there. It just didn't work out the way he wanted it to. He didn't quite have aggro on that big rebellious fist guy who punched me, the Goliath. So like, that's a bit of an error, but it's okay. It happens, and it's okay. It's gonna happen in your Mythic Plus dungeons. Excuse me, all the time. So just like be aware of that, and don't get mad. Don't get pissed. Don't be writing in chat. Stupid tank should have got aggroed. Like just forget about all that and just push through, and try to get the dungeon done anyway. Let's look at the next section here. Actually, I get autoed again. This happens, guys. I know time this key 19 deaths is a little bit much, but okay. This time we do this properly. He roots this guy. I go, okay, I'm not going to pop my cooldowns. He's rooted it. I've learned now. I'm going to also hex it. So we hex this guy. So now we pull all the packs away, and then the paladin throws his hammer at it. But this is what you want to do, guys. This is what you want to do. On Inspiring Weeks, I'm just going to go backtrack 1 second. You want to hex/root the Inspire guy, and then pull the other guys away, and now we can kick them all, and we can stun them all. The DH just stun them all. But then the Paladin just friggin' threw a hammer out and pulled it. So, whatever. I blow my cooldowns. We blow up this pack. Boom, boom, boom. Let's skip ahead. We get to this one. I get autoed again. So again, this guy jumps really far away. And as the tank, you need to be aware that your DPS might jump over to this guy, and you need to taunt him because he autos me right here. Ready? Blap. Look at my face. Look at my face over here. I'm so demoralized. Okay, I'm gonna back up. Watch this. I'm actually gonna drop my trinket here. This is so funny. We're gonna be coming up to a boss soon, but I'll have my face up by the boss. Vesper. Oh, I don't want to run back. I'm not running back. I just ran all the way back. It was me. I don't know what just happened there. This druid. How did he not have aggro on that? I don't know. I have no idea what happened. I know what happened. he started to get aggro, but then that guy jumps away. So that druid needed to taunt this praetor specifically. If you're looking for tips on tanking and stuff, that druid needed to taunt that praetor because he's a ranged mob. He's gonna jump away and start throwing his ranged attacks. And if I'm standing right next to him, he's just gonna look at me and go blap, which is exactly what happened because the druid didn't taunt. But that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Now the next pack coming up is bad. So I get rezzed here. Everybody's fine. It was okay. We're all still keeping our cool. We haven't completely melted down yet. Transcendence, Wolves. I want to blow it all. So as I'm saying, I want to blow all my cooldowns here. This is a really difficult pack. There's no inspiring here, thank God. But this is still just a very difficult pack on Fortified. So I hex the guy on the left, trying to just reduce the numbers of bad guys we have to deal with. And the druid doesn't pull it right away, which is great. So we can sort of just focus on this pack over here. I'm just gonna let my old self talk for a second. Fully. Let me back up. I don't know what he's doing, but I feel like I should hex one of them. Cooldowns. I'm gonna just hold a little bit here. I'm holding. We're gonna pop carefully. We don't want to die. We don't want to die. We take a lot of damage here. Vesper's down though. We can help heal everybody. Yep. Kick stuff. That's a very technical term, kick stuff. Okay, then you see the druid, I think, or somebody threw a thing at this inquisitor because we're almost done beating up this pack, so we might as well grab the last guy, and then he bugs out, and it's a disaster. Just pulled that guy again. Does he know he's ranged? I'm gonna kick him. Oh, I just tried to kick him. My kick did nothing. It didn't matter. Healer dies. Got a hot hand proc. This guy's up in the air. I can't hit this guy because he's in the air. I can't hit him. Super frustrating. That's like lagged out, actually. That's not really anybody's fault. He should... When we kick him, he should come down, but he doesn't. I'll try to do as much damage as I can. Try to heal. I'm gonna die here. Yeah. This guy's bugged. Somebody needs to kick him. Wow. This is a bit of a disaster. Kiss gets back. This is a disaster for sure. This is it was. That's okay. Whew. We gotta keep our cool here. You do. You gotta try and keep your cool, but I mean that's just rough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that guy was bugged. I kicked him, and he was up in the air, and I kicked him, and it didn't matter. He just kept casting right afterwards. Not your fault. So I'm trying to keep things okay with the group. Again, you don't want to flame anybody. You'll just have people leave immediately. We're already like we're really far into this key, right? We're like 25 minutes into this key, or I don't even know how long. Yeah, 23 minutes into this key. Like, you don't want to abandon ship now. The bulk of, like, the last chunk of the key is coming up. You got all these bosses coming up, and it's like you want to push through and get your loot, and that's what I was kind of looking at. But generally, sometimes it just, you can see the wheels are starting to fall off. It's getting really bad. So we push forward here. We fly back. We kill these last two guys. I have to like pop my stone boy, earth elemental, just to make things work. And then the last section of this video begins where we are approaching the
Cool part about this build is your rotation is pretty
Ventinax.
much always smooth.
Gonna heal a bit with. We're approaching Ventinax, and it like this guy, the DH says that we need to reset Ventinax so that we can go kill the Tormentor. If you guys have done this a bunch of times, there's a Tormentor tucked in the corner, and Ventinax has a very strange patrol route where he or she, I think is he, can come very close to you. See how he's patrolling around right now? He can get very close to you, and you can just pull him. And it's like that is a possibility, but I've done this dungeon like 40 or 50 times now, and you just have to go tuck into the corner as tightly as possible, and he won't aggro. It's very, very easy to just go and do the Tormentor tightly stacked in the corner, and you'll have no problem aggroing the boss. I've done this even with the ice and the fire tormentors, which take up a lot of space on the ground. So let's see how this unfolds. Watch this. We're waiting for the healer to come back.
Healer.
Watch this monk. Watch the monk. Ready?
We need
monk.
our healer, sir. Got to wait for the healer.
Watch the monk.
Yeah, this tank. That's right. That's right, hero. This tank.
Here it comes.
He's just ready.
There it is. It's in the air. Do you see that? He just fires off a chi burst. I'm just gonna let you watch the rest of this as it unfolds. He fires a chi burst off into the tormentor. Here we go. Ready?
To go. Oh my gosh! What the heck? The guy just pulled. The monk just pulled. This is what we call a Pasta-Disasta. Oh, we pulled the boss. Oh no! Oh no! We pulled the boss too. I got this. I got this. I got this. I'm not even worried. Not even worried. I got a dot on me. It's not even that. Okay, it's actually monk. I feel like people are gonna start leaving. It's gonna be great.
That was a prophetic prediction.
It's all right, guys.
So
It's all right.
I didn't realize, but the monk was already offline. Look at him. He's already offline, which means he just left. He didn't DC randomly. He just literally quit the game. He rage quit.
This druid broke combat. Oh, he's still got the thing. Always phase boss. What does that mean? I'm not sure what the demon hunter means. What do you mean by?
What he meant was always reset the boss before pulling the tormentor, because it's like it's fine. It's not a bad suggestion, but like you don't have to do it because you can easily do the tormentor without resetting the boss. If you reset the boss, they go invisible for like 20-30 seconds, and then they respawn eventually. So it's helpful, but you don't have to do it. Anyway, that is the end of that video. That it starts to fall apart. I think we end up completely disbanding.
Always face.
I'm trying to figure out what the DH is saying. Give me a second here.
But these guys are saying they want to. I know the boss. He patrols around. He can get.
Yeah. I talked about that. This monk's offline.
Please reset the boss before you start Sagidon, but you don't have to. Like this boss is gonna, but we're not gonna get through Sagidon by the time the boss gets resummoned. He comes back in like 25 seconds.
That's another thing.
So
Anyway, it doesn't
I don't
matter
know what these guys are thinking.
So I'm saying the monk's not DC'd. He just left. He just Alt F4 the game and got out of there. That's what happened. He's not just like, oh, randomly DC'd after ninja pulling Sagadon into the boss.
Oh, people are leaving. Okay.
And now the healer left. It's gone. It's a done deal, right? So there we go. That's that. that's what happens with a Pasta-Disasta dungeon, guys. But what I want to say is that I wanted to show you some of the tools that we can use as the fire build, but ultimately I wanted to say that you got to try and keep your cool in these dungeons. You got to try and help your team as much as possible. I tried to maintain a positive attitude as long as I could, and it was fine. I wasn't angry at the end. I was disappointed that like I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I was disappointed that it kind of was such a disaster the way that it went, but this happens in Mythic Plus. You will get people who don't always know what they're doing. Maybe they're pushing their limits. Maybe they've never done a plus 14 before, like we were doing there. So this is like their first time, and they don't think the damage is going to be that high, and it is that high. They don't think that they need to change their playstyle because of inspiring, but you do need to change your playstyle because of inspiring. You need to make sure that you're CCing that ad and pulling the other ads away. Inspires of Ascension, in particular, there's so many things you have to kick. Insidious Venom, Rebellious Fist. There's so many abilities that are going to kill you on a 14, as you saw. So very, very important to understand what's going on in the dungeon. Don't don't just think that it's going to be an easy walk in the park if you're doing high keys like this, but work with your group. Make sure you organize kicks. If you're going to take the route with the double golem or double Goliath, you better have a strategy ready. You better be like, okay, Shaman, you're kicking first, and Bear, you're going to kick first as well. You're going to do the first two. The second set of Rebellious Fists, we're going to have the Monk and the DH kick. You have to organize that stuff, or else it won't work. It just won't work. So there's some really interesting things you got to think about. If you're running groups in Mythic Plus, get in there and run some groups, guys. Try to work together with your party to make it work, but just know that sometimes it's a complete Pasta-Disasta and there's nothing you can really do about it, and that's okay. Try to maintain a positive attitude and try to keep the group together. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it just falls apart, and that's okay too. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.